Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday. Depending on where you live, day and a half till the weekend starts. Thank God, man. Week started out great for me, at least. Went by pretty quick, and then yesterday afternoon, bam, hit a brick wall. It's just been dragging. But Friday's tomorrow. We'll get there. Week 5 preview, and look at the schedule. This looks like it's going to be a super Saturday. Tons of damn good games. Um, which is good because I look to hit till next weekend, and next weekend's kind of So thank God for this weekend. We got big games we're going to go over. Got some news items to go over. With it, let's get started. The big news, I think, this week, after 21 seasons, Mike Gundy out at Oklahoma State. OC Doug Meacham, he is their interim head coach. I always liked Mike Gundy. I like the fact that, a lot of coaches are like this now, but he didn't take crap from the media back then when he first started. Remember his whole thing about, come at me, I'm a man, and all that, instead of going after his players. I really admired him for sticking up for his players like that, giving it to the media like that. But last few years, just hasn't been Oklahoma State football. So I can see why they made a change. But he's a good coach. He'll land somewhere. Don't be surprised if you see him pop up somewhere like Florida or Arkansas. Well, probably not Arkansas. If they get rid of Pittman, Petrino will step in probably. But Wisconsin, some of these big schools that are struggling. Don't be surprised if he would land at one of those. So anyway, Mike Gundy, he'll be back on his feet in no time somewhere. ACC, they vote to expand to 9 conference games, following suit like everybody else. Meanwhile, ACC fined Syracuse $25,000 for faking injuries in the Clemson game. Remember, I think it's Klubnik called them out. Well, if they want to do that kind of stuff and be dishonest, that's their business. I think it's Klubnik that did that after the game. But yeah, ACC agreed. $25,000 fine for Syracuse. Big one here. Big one here. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer missed about a month due to having surgery. Can read my writing. On his throwing hand, broke a bone in his hand in the Auburn game. So that's some big stuff right there for Oklahoma. We'll have to see how their backup is. Alabama linebacker Jean Marion Latham being evaluated in a hospital as of Tuesday night for a neck injury he suffered in practice. Man, it sucks to get hurt in practice, and we'll see what happens there. Florida starting cornerback Dejon Johnson out for season, knee surgery. Sucks it's this early in the season these injuries happen. And then also Auburn wide receiver Herschel Fields, he's going to be out indefinitely. He's got a broken foot. Yeah, man, these injuries that happen in fall camp and this early in the season, God, that just sucks for those guys. I feel the hard work they've been putting in. I really feel for those guys. Some sad news. Former Auburn star, running back Rudy Johnson. Remember Rudy Johnson from back in the early 2000s? Passed away at 45. 2000 SEC Player of the Year. Ran for 1,567 yards that year and 13 touchdowns. Drafted by Cincinnati, also played at Detroit. I didn't see any cause of death yet. I don't know if they haven't released it or if they've released it and I just didn't see it. But as a couple of days ago, they hadn't released it yet. Man, 45 years old. He's a hell of a running back. I remember watching him back in the early 2000s. Really, really great guy. Prayers to him and his family and friends and former teammates. That's 45. Man, that is just too damn young. All right, so in top 25 interesting games you might want to keep an eye on. Here we go. Tonight, 6:30 ESPN. It's college football. I mean, it is. 1-2 Army versus 2-2 Eastern Carolina. It's Thursday night. It's college football. That's all I got to say about that one. Tomorrow night, though, 6 p.m. ESPN. Number 8 Florida State versus 3-1 Virginia. Remember that night in 1995 in Charlottesville? Florida State went to go play Virginia. Warrick Dunn gets stopped at the goal line. Florida State loses. A lot of people say that Warrick Dunn made it in there. If you watch different replays, You could see the ball cross into the end zone, but referees called it nope, no score. Virginia wins that one. Excuse me. Still getting over this cold. Florida State, better rushing. Virginia, better in passing and total yards. First downs, but Virginia does have more penalties. Also, 8 p.m. on Fox tomorrow night. Number 24, TCU versus 3-1 Arizona State. That'll be a pretty good one. TCU better in the passing game. Arizona State's better in the rushing game. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover, 1,000 passing yards, 11 touchdowns. Sam Leavitt, only 748 passing yards and 6 touchdowns. That's crazy for him. Both of these teams, though, over 168 yards and penalties. And then a late night Friday game, if you're into it. 9:30 on ESPN. 3-0 Houston travels to the West Coast to play 0-4 Oregon State. Oregon State's only averaging 70 rushing yards a game. I don't know what the hell's going on out there in Corvallis, but it ain't as good as it used to be. All right, moving on to Saturday. 11 a.m. on ESPNU. North Texas, man, going for 5-0. It could happen because they're playing 1-3 South Alabama. They are close in rushing yards, but North Texas has a lot better passing game. Big game here. 11 a.m. ABC. Number 22 Notre Dame going to play 2-2 Arkansas. Pittman's got to win this game. I mean, he really does. Arkansas is better in passing and rushing numbers and total yards. Arkansas, they also have way more first downs than Notre Dame has, but they also do have more penalties than the Irish. 217 yards of penalties. Notre Dame only 91 yards, but they have only played 2 games. So, yeah, it's a big game here for Pittman. If he wants to shut people up, he needs to win this game. I don't know what to make of Notre Dame this year. We know Arkansas is just kind of, but this could tell a lot for both these teams. It really could. This one here, 11 a.m. on CBS Sports Network. Bowling Green versus Ohio. Both of them are 2-2. Good MAC battle there. Ohio is better in rushing and passing. 11 a.m. on Big Ten Network. 3-1 Rutgers versus 2-1 Minnesota. These teams are pretty close in rushing yards, passing yards, and they're also pretty close in penalties, unfortunately. 11 a.m. on Fox. Man, told you we got a big day Saturday. Number 21 USC versus number 23 Illinois. USC way better rushing and passing yards per game, but they also have a lot more penalties than Illinois. USC's on the roll. Illinois, that beatdown they got Saturday night, they're pissed off about that. Could be a pretty damn good game. 11 a.m. on TNT. 2-1 Cincinnati versus 3-1 Kansas. These teams are close in rushing and passing and total yards, but Kansas does have more first downs this season, and they also have more penalties than Cincinnati does. 11 a.m. on ACC Network, 2-2 Duke versus 3-1 Syracuse. These two teams are close in the passing and the rushing game. Duke does have 97 more yards and penalties this year than Syracuse does. Duke is bouncing the back a little bit. I'm not sure if they can beat Syracuse, but maybe they can give them a good game. 11 a.m. on ESPN2, 3-0 Louisville goes and plays 2-1 Pitt. These two teams are also close in passing, rushing yards, and total yards. Both these teams have over 200 yards and penalties already this year. 11 a.m. ESPN, number 16 Georgia Tech versus 2-1 Wake Forest. Georgia Tech better in the rushing game. They are similar in the passing game, so they are kind of even there. Georgia Tech does come out on top in first downs, and unfortunately, you guessed it, penalties. 11:45 SEC Network, 3-1 Utah. Man, they go to number 18 Vanderbilt. These teams are even in the rushing and the passing game. Utah's pissed because they lost, so going to travel halfway across the country to prove it. 12:30 on ESPN Plus. 2-2 Georgia Southern versus 2-1 James Madison. 2:30 on CBS Sports Network. 3-1 Rice versus 3-0 Navy. Both of these are rushing teams. Both average less than 120 passing yards a game. Both of them having really good seasons. So this is really going to be a springboard, I guess, into getting 6 wins for that bowl eligibility. Man, cold medicine, there's no cold medicine that works anymore. Remember back in the day, Dayquil, NyQuil, all that stuff? Cure your cough, or at least make you feel better, get rid of the cough, congestion for a while. None of that shit works anymore. I think it's because all the damn kids that used to buy it and drink it and get high off of it. So all that stuff's just a waste of money now, I swear. All right, 2:30 ESPN. I'm nervous about this one. I'll admit that. 3-1 Auburn versus number 9 Texas A&M. They are closing and rushing. A&M better passing and average more total yards in this one. Auburn has almost 100 more yards and penalties. As an Aggie fan, I'm just waiting for them to lay over. It happens every year. Every year they just lay over and you're like, there goes the season. 2:30 ABC. Another big one on at the same time. Number 4 LSU versus number 13 Ole Miss. Ole Miss is actually better in rushing and passing and total yards. Both of them have over 230 yards and penalties. That's just crazy. Anyway, big SEC game on 2:30. 2:30 ESPN Plus. UConn versus Buffalo. Both of them are 2-2. 2:30 on Peacock. Got a good one too. Number 11 Indiana, who kind of shut some people up last weekend. Now they go to Iowa City, play 3-1 Iowa. Indiana better in rushing and passing and total yards, and they also have more first downs than Iowa does. Which Iowa, that's crazy because they got that quarterback, that great quarterback from South Dakota State. He won a couple championships there. I thought they were going to be a lot better, but they're just, man, I don't know. It's almost like they're skating by every week. 2:30 on ESPN2. 2-2 Baylor goes to 1-2 Oklahoma State, who's got Meacham as their new coach right now. Both these teams need a win bad. Everybody's high on Baylor, and after what Oklahoma State's gone through the last couple of years, yeah, I have a feeling both these teams are going to be scrapping it out to get a win. Let's see. Where are we? I'm sorry. I made a mistake. 11:45 SEC Network. The Vanderbilt game, that's Utah State they are playing. Not Utah State. I just realized my mistake when I came to this one. 2:30 on Fox. 3-1 Utah versus 2-2 West Virginia. Both of them trying to bounce back from losses. Big one here. If you don't watch this game, keep an eye on it. 2:30 on CBS. Number 1 Ohio State goes to Seattle to play 3-0 Washington at Husky Stadium. Washington, hell of a rushing game. Both these teams are pretty even in the passing game. Quarterbacks have similar numbers. Buckeyes do have less penalties than the Huskies do, but if you ever watched the Washington game, that stadium is freaking hard to play in. They got those overhangs, so the noise bounces up and bounces back onto the field. A lot of upsets have happened at Husky Stadium. Don't be surprised if Washington beats Ohio State, because that, like I said, that is a serious home field advantage there at Husky Stadium. So if you don't watch it, at least keep an eye on the score to see what happens. But yeah, if Ohio State loses, do not be surprised by that. 3 p.m. Mountain West Network. Rivalry game. New Mexico State versus New Mexico. Battle for what they call their state, the land of enchantment. Both of them are 2-1. And it's a rivalry game, so that could be worth checking out. 3:15 on the SEC Network. Number 15, Tennessee. Going to Starkville, land of the Cowbells, to play 4-0 Mississippi State. Close in rushing. Tennessee's better in passing. They got more first downs. Mississippi State has over 110 yards in penalties. 110 more yards in penalties than Tennessee does, so that good thing. But, just like Husky Stadium, Mississippi State, that's a tough place to play when they get all them cowbells going. Mississippi State's got something to prove this year. They really do. Playing some good games. Beat Arizona State, who's a good team. Man, could we have 2 upsets in the same time frame? Could Tennessee and Ohio State both lose? I don't know. It's college football. Crazy shit happens. Keep an eye on it, though. You never know. 5:30 on ESPN Plus. Rhode Island looks to go 5-0. Going to play FBS Western Michigan, who's 1-3. Rhode Island might come out of there with a win. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Jacksonville State versus Southern Miss. Both of them are 2-2. 6 p.m. on ESPN. Number 3 Arizona versus number 14 Iowa State. These are both close in rushing and passing, but Arizona does have more penalties than Iowa State does. 6:30 on FS1, Appalachian State versus Boise State. Both of them are 2-1. Close. These two teams are close in rushing yards, passing yards, first downs, and penalties. So it's kind of an evenly matched game. So that might be one more checking out. Another big one, 6:30 on ABC. Number 17 Alabama versus number 5 Georgia. Georgia better in the rushing game. They are close in passing and total yards. Bama has over 100 more yards and penalties than Georgia does. Another big one at the same time. You're going to have a TV and your iPad, maybe even your phone Saturday. Because 6:30 on NBC, number 6 Oregon versus number 3 Penn State. They are both close in rushing and passing yards. Oregon, more total yards, more first downs, but more penalties than Penn State does. Excuse me, Penn State, people say they can't win the big game the last few years. This is a chance right here to prove them wrong. Nighttime there in Happy Valley. And I'm going to admit, they do look a heck of a lot better. I mean, they've been badass the last couple of years, but Penn State seems to be looking better this year. So you never know. It might happen. 6:45 on SEC Network. 2-1 Kentucky versus 2-2 South Carolina. Kentucky averages more rushing yards. South Carolina only averages 80 rushing yards a game. I did not realize that. I figured with Sellers, it'd be a lot more than that. But South Carolina a little better in the passing game, but has over 130 more yards and penalties this year so far than Kentucky does. And then your late night game, 9:15. Why I didn't write the network down, I don't know. Probably ESPN or ESPN2. Number 25, BYU versus 2-2 Colorado. BYU better in the rushing game. Colorado is actually a little better in the passing game than BYU is. But both these teams have over 175 yards in penalties. So that's it. That's your top 25. That's your games, interesting games to keep an eye on. Quite a lot of them this Saturday. I really hope this year turns out, was it last year, the year before? God, we had like 3-4 Super Saturdays, and they all kind of stacked together. Remember that? I think it's either last year or the year before. Right around the middle of October into November, we have several Saturdays stacked with great games. Hopefully this starts that. I mean, we've had some great games this year so far, but I know it's not going to continue next week because, like I said, look at the schedule. And it's kind of, but anyway. All right, so that's it. We'll be back Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Not sure. It all depends on what all happens, and stuff around here. To review things that happened tonight through Saturday. Anyway, keep your head down. Keep busy. The weekend will be here soon. And we will see you next time.